Hi, everyone. It's Cameron. So today I wanted to share with you a little bit about Human Design 101. What is human design? What's going on with the chart? We're going to take a look at a chart just so that you can understand a little bit about what you're looking at, what some of it means, even though if you are interested in human design and interested in getting a human design reading, you do not need to understand the chart at all. So this is just if you want to understand the chart. We're just going to take a look at my chart, and I'll explain some of the parts of it so that you have an understanding of what goes into the chart, what kind of information it can give you. But let's start with what human design is. I think the best way to think about human design is to see it as a self-awareness tool. It's not a belief system. It is just a tool to help you know yourself. So the chart is a map of human archetypes, human experiences, and they are universal in a way. But human design itself is called the science of differentiation. So it explains the multitude of ways in which we are all different. And it is kind of the map of nature versus nurture, which is something that clicked with me instantly when I stumbled upon it, because I had always been asking myself, who am I? What is me? And what did I learn? What is natural to me? And where am I conditioned or programmed? And this is the map of how we experience certain things in life, so it can show us things that are more natural to us, and it can show us things that are likely more conditioned. And conditioning and programming is what we experience as we are being brought up by our parents, our school teachers, our communities of any sort. And when we're all born, there's this very natural, very necessary software, essentially, that we're all born with, that it's a driving force that makes us want to belong, makes us want to conform to rules, to standards, so that we are not kicked out of the community, so that we are not rejected, and so that we do not die. So this is vital that we all carry this urge to conform, to be programmed, essentially. It's very natural. So there is conditioning the conditioning and programming that serves us. And there is a part of us that wants to be conditioned and programmed. But it's very helpful to know about the stuff that might be getting in the way of who you are, of proper decision-making, of good emotional and mental health, of living your purpose. Human design is something that to a lot of people can bring self-trust. This really is at the root of some of the information that's provided in the chart: how to trust yourself, how to relate to other people, how to make decisions. And the self-awareness is something that can bring a lot of self-acceptance and self-love, which really is one of the main things, if not the main thing. I believe it's the main thing at the root of all human suffering and dilemma. Not the root of all of our pain, but our problems, the things in life that are sticky, and the things that really are confusing or painful. I believe low self-worth and self-hate are at the root of those. And human design is something that can lead us into practicing self-awareness and self-love and regaining self-worth. So it is a tool that can help us walk in that direction. And another thing I love about human design is that it is the place at which science and spirituality meet. So the system itself is rooted in ancient wisdom and modern science. So the modern science that comes into it, we have genetics. Each of the gates, which I'll show you here in the chart in a minute, codes for a specific amino acid. We have quantum physics, And we know that actually neutrinos, which were predicted by Ra Uru Hu, the man who developed and downloaded the system of human design and shared it with the world, predicted neutrinos, which are subatomic particles that carry information and pass through matter, leaving behind information. And then there are ancient modalities that go into the system, like the Hindu chakra system, the Chinese I Ching, the Kabbalah. So it is, oh, and astrology, by the way. Astrology is a large component. So it is this massive information that all comes together, and it is there to help you in navigating life, in understanding who you are, learning how to not hate yourself, and how to move forward. So it's not something that is like a quick fix. I don't think it's bad to think about certain things in life as life hacks. There are certain things about human design that I really think are kind of a life hack, that bring life hacks to us. But human design is an experiment. It's a tool. So there's practical guidance that goes along with human design, and it's an experiment. So it is designed, the system, to be used, to be trialed, and to help you out. And if it doesn't, then you just stop doing it. You go back to living the way you were before. So that is kind of a quick intro into what it is, how it works, why it matters, and hopefully that is something that can answer some of your questions and help you in thinking about what we're about to look at. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and we are going to take a look at a human design chart. All right. Hopefully you can see this chart now. And this is my chart. Look, it's me, Cameron Coots. So to generate your human design chart, you do need your birth date and exact time. I was born at 5:56 in the morning on December 28, 1990. And then you'll need your birthplace. And this is how we know which planets were where, and how we know which neutrino imprint you got at the moment of your birth. So it is the neutrino stream that dictates what we see in this human design chart. And again, those neutrinos are those subatomic particles that are in our environment that affect us. And our environment being our solar system. It's the understandings that come from the neutrinos and the study of quantum physics that shows us that help us understand that we are not separate from our environment. We are affected by what is happening around us, by the celestial bodies. And so this is a core understanding of the system. And there are some things in human design that we don't even need to buy into if we don't want to. If there are certain things that don't make sense or that we don't believe, that's okay. Ultimately, this is just a self-awareness tool that can help us in understanding ourselves and seeing ourselves, because again, these are just human experiences. These are archetypes that we're going to talk about. This is a logical system. It is rooted in logic. So there's a whole lot of sense that is made of what we're looking at here. And this is the map of the chart. This right here is the human design chart itself. So let's break this down and take a look at it. So first of all, where can you get your own human design chart? You can get a free chart on several places on the internet. For example, right here, I'm at geneticmatrix.com. You can get a free chart there. You can get a free chart also at myhumandesign.com or at mybodygraph.com. Any of those places will give you a free chart. If you just Google human design, I think the first websites that come up you can use to generate a free chart. And it will give you something that looks like this. Your chart will not look like this. They are all different. They are all different maps. It's like we're looking at different parts of the world. And there are different roads and different buildings, different happenings. So they're all going to look different. Yours is not going to look like this. It might a little bit, but it's not going to look the same. And when you generate your chart, you're going to see something to the effect of this. And then you'll get a type. You'll get a profile. You might see this definition, this incarnation cross thing. And these are the keynotes that start to explain what we're looking at in the chart. So what is a type? In human design, the first level of differentiation is the type. There are 5 types. They are energy types, and there are 5 different types of people. So me, I'm the projector type. That's me. It depends on the website you visit, whether it'll break the type, whether it'll separate the type and the authority. Some of you, if you're using, I think if you use mybodygraph.com, it'll have authority as a separate little keynote here, whereas here on this website, it ropes the authority in with the type. And authority is the part of the human design chart that is designed to be your inner authority, the part of you in your body that's designed to help you make decisions and keep you on purpose, keep you on track, take care of you. And so for me, it's splenic. That just means I have splenic authority and I'm a projector type. So that's how it starts to get more differentiated, is that I'm not just a projector, I'm a splenic projector. And other types that you may see manifesting generator, you may see generator, manifester, or reflector. Those are the 5 types. And then there are various authorities. There are various profiles. There are 12 of these. I have the 3-5. And the profile, by the way, since we're touching on it, comes from this little decimal number here and this little decimal number here. So the number on the right comes first in the profile. So there's the 3. And then the number that comes second, the number that's here in the red column, this decimal, this 0.5, is the second in the profile. And the profile in the chart that the chart gives us is a little bit more like a personality type, or like a lane that you walk down in life, or a path that you follow. The human design type, the energy type itself, is not a personality type. So for example, generator, the pure generator type or the manifesting generator type, these both make up, together, they make up about 70% of the world population. And manifesting generators themselves, that's about 35% of people. There's no way 35% of people on the planet have the same personality, right? We could not stereotype, we could not possibly give that number of people the same personality. The energy type, this type here that comes with human design, is the way that you are designed to exchange energy with the world around you. It can also be thought about as the way that you are designed to manifest. Some people, that's a helpful way to define it. It is just the way that you are designed to either like be attracted to life or life to be attracted to you, the way you're designed to make things happen, the way that you interact with other human beings. The type is a huge component of human design. And so, yeah, so that's a bit on that. The profile, again, is more like a personality type. And there are 12 of those. And I don't want to get into too much of the other things in the chart, because because then it starts to get a little bit more confusing, and I really want to focus on the meatier stuff that like actually matters right now if you are interested in human design or trying to figure out your chart. So we're going to stop there. We touched on the type, the authority, and the profile. Hugely important. And now let's go to the chart again. So here, this human figure, this is the body graph itself. And then on either side, we have what's actually called the birth chart. So we have this column of red numbers and this column of black numbers. And any of the numbers that we see in these columns is going to show up in the body graph. So for example, right here, this red 46, boom, right here, we see in the red column, the number 46. Over here, I have this black 58, and we can go down and we can see that 58 has a black line in it. But we'll also see that it has red in it. So that means that 58 is over here somewhere in this red column as well. So right there it is, 58. So 58 is colored in twice. It's lit up twice, activated twice. And so you'll see it in both the red and black on the chart. So you'll see both of these represented in the chart again. And there are all of these little numbers on these bigger shapes, and I'll tell you what all these mean. So let's talk about the shapes to begin with. The shapes, these larger shapes, are called centers or energy centers, and they will, in your chart, look different than this. They're likely to look different than this, and that you'll have some that are colored in or some that aren't. Some people have charts where they're all white. Some people have charts where they're all colored in, or most of them are colored in. Everybody's chart is different because we're all different. Again, this is the science of differentiation. And if something is colored in, the centers or these lines, then that means it's defined. That's the term that's used, defined. So again, this 58, which is defined over here in the black, and it's defined in the red, that means that I got that neutrino imprint. That means I got that activation. And if something is defined, that means that you are meant to focus on it, really learn about it, really master it, give it to the world. It's a part of your purpose, and it's less susceptible to conditioning and programming. It absolutely is susceptible to conditioning if it's defined, but it is less so. Because I'm here to learn this, master this in more of my own way, and then give it to the world from that place. So that is defined, that is definition within a chart. And then you'll see right here, this center, this is undefined. This center is also undefined. If it's white, even the lines, if they are white, they are undefined. That means I did not get an activation here. And to be even more specific, this center is what we call undefined because it's white, but it has two lines coming off of it. But if a center is white with no lines coming off of it, this is what we call open, technically. So undefined, open. This is also open. This is also undefined. And if something is undefined, it is more vulnerable to conditioning and programming. So these are aspects of the human experience to which I am most vulnerable to conditioning and programming. And this is also a part of the human experience to which, if you have something undefined, you are more likely to gain a lot of wisdom. Absolutely, there's the potential for wisdom here, huge wisdom in definition. But things that are undefined, there is a broader range of these experiences that's had, because in anything that's undefined, we absorb and amplify this energy from the world around us. So this is like, technically, empathic energy, right? We feel this stuff from other people. We learn about it the hard way. There's a lot of experience. There are major highs, major lows, all the in-betweens, inconsistencies. And so there's a lot of potential for wisdom here, a lot of potential for pain as well, of course, because of the programming and conditioning. And there are not self themes that go along with all of the centers and all of the types too, by the way. Not self is just, it's us off track. It's us conditioned. It's us not in who we are. And there are major not self themes and shadows that go along with the lines that can be very uncomfortable. But over time, ideally, if we have self-awareness, then these become masterful. And we reflect the world around us in these areas. And we can teach the world around us about these areas. These as well, of course, definition, but there's a lot of potential here that doesn't really get considered. And so that's why I'm really emphasizing that. So those are the centers. And then, so these lines, so if it's called a gate, all of these little numbers off of the energy centers are called gates. And so you can see right here, I have gate 54 defined, gate 38 defined, gate 58 defined, and gate 18 defined. And if two gates connect and form a complete line, that is called a channel. Whereas gate 54 and gate 38 can technically be called hanging gates because they hang, they're not connected. That's a hanging gate. And 18 to 58 is a channel, which is a specific human experience, a specific life theme, a specific thing that I am learning and mastering and teaching other people and using in life. And, you know, it's a part of my purpose. And it's a more complete energy flow. Now, if something is activated in red, in this red part of the birth chart, this is an unconscious activation. This is a neutrino imprint that we get 3 months before we are born in our mother's womb. And so it's said to be more associated with the body. So this is kind of like a ride that you're on that you don't have a whole lot of control over. That can be a way to think of it. And that can also be scary because of how much the average human being loves control, loves the illusion of control. So this is a little bit more like the stuff that other people see in you more than you do, because it's unconscious. It's stuff that's more associated with your body. It's themes that are attracted to you unconsciously, that you're figuring out unconsciously. And, you know, it's like your body is taking you these places without you maybe realizing it or knowing it. And again, that's an imprint you get 3 months before you're born. And the gates that are activated in black, so for example, this 1156, the 11 or the 56, this whole channel, activated in black. So this is an imprint that I got at the moment of my birth. This is the exact moment, 556. And so this is more conscious. This is more associated with the personality. These are things that I might be more consciously aware of, might have a little more control over in a way, could maybe consciously tap into more, and might identify with more. So that's the meaning behind these. And then you'll see these little symbols in yellow. These are all the celestial bodies. So here we have the sun and the earth. These two are actually not celestial bodies. They are mathematical points. This is the north and the south node of the moon. Then we have the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So those, and those are over here as well, by the way. So those are the neutrino imprints that we get. And each of these little gates, each of these little numbers has a specific human experience attached to it. It's a specific life theme. And then, so for example, if we go to 31, It's in red, so we find it over here, 31. This south node gives that experience of 31 a different flavor. So 31 is a specific archetype, a specific human experience, and then it gets flavored by this south node imprint. And then, this 58 here. 58 is its own lesson, its own archetype, but then it gets flavored by the neutrino imprint of the sun. So that's how it begins to differentiate even more. And then you'll see even these decimal points. There's 0.1 through 0.6, which differentiate the lesson further. That's all that's going on there. It's just increasing levels of variety for the human experience. And so this is how we all start to get a little more unique and, express a little bit differently or learn things differently. And yeah, so that's kind of what's going on there. This is, I think it's helpful to think of as the chart of how you experience certain experiences, the chart of how you experience. And, when I do readings, I do not show people the chart. I just look at it and then I read it to them. I translate it. I explain what it is telling me about how they are experiencing certain things. And typically I will go through it in a rather strategic way. Every chart is different, so I go through readings differently. But it's so important to touch on the type and the authority and the profile and then the centers and, the gates. There's so much that needs to come up, and it is all connected. It's interconnected. So it's telling a story. When we begin with human design, we want to pull out specific little pieces and understand them that way. We need to do that, but ultimately it's all connected. This 35 is not separate from this 55, right? There's a connection to all of this. We tend to want to compartmentalize ourselves and our experiences in life, but it doesn't really work that way. And so ultimately, this is a very complicated, interconnected you. And I don't use human design for things like party tricks. Some people like to use astrology even, or human design for things like, telling somebody when, like the day they're going to meet their soulmate, or, oh, you really love wind. I don't think those things are actually very helpful. And I don't like to talk about things that are not helpful or practical. So I don't do the party tricks. And I don't do the fortune telling either. Like this is going to happen. You're going to win the lottery, or this is going to be a horrible year of your life. And I also don't use human design and look at it in this way of, you are doomed. You are always going to struggle in this way. Because I believe, I this is a belief, but also I see evidence of this in the system of human design and in my life experiences and the various things I've studied in life, that we are capable of overcoming any sort of struggles that we may have. It can be easy to see pain points and struggles in a chart, but I do not believe that any of us are doomed. I think that can be something that's a little more common when we, with, astrology and how astrology has been used in the past and even up to now, how we can have the tendency to use a chart and play the victim and say, well, I am this way and I'm always going to be this way and life is always going to do this to me. I don't believe that. I do not believe that we are doomed or destined for this or that, and that we can all aim for virtue and beauty and, compassion and peace and success, and that will look different for all of us. So that is a bit about human design and the chart itself. And I really enjoyed sharing all of that with you. Human design is such a fun system, and I'm a projector. If you happen to be a projector, we tend to love systems and understanding the ways that things work. And so I hope this was helpful to you. If you benefited from this, I hope you'll share it with a friend. Or you can go find me on Instagram. You can check out my website, CameronCoots.com, where I do offer readings of the whole chart. I also offer coaching and guidance sessions, and would love to connect with you. Would love to share more with you. Yeah, so thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to talk to you soon.